Ciao comrades, thanks for joining me today. My name is Michael and today we have a very important video. Essential must install Vita Homebrew applications that cannot be missing on any PS Vita. These are my picks and this is a 2025 edition, so let's be cracking. First we have VitaGrafix, and it allows you to change resolution and FPS cap for native Vita games to get better visuals, high FPS or longer battery life. For example, I want to play Resident Evil Revelations 2, but I'm not satisfied with the frame rate. VitaGrafix allows me to lower internal resolution of the game. Here I went down to 640 by 360 and the increase in frame rate is noticeable, and the decrease in graphical fidelity not so much. No, it is not stable frame rate, but it is much better than frame rate at default resolution, which is by the way not Vita's native resolution, 960 by 544, but game at default already runs lower at 720 by 408. This also means we can increase the resolution to Vita's native, but this clearly only makes sense when the game runs good in the first place. Not every native Vita game supports this application, unfortunately, but plenty of them do support it. You can find all the supported games on the GitHub list, and also what feature do they support. For example, some of them only support internal resolution, some of them FPS cap, frame buffer, and some of them support all of them. VitaGrafix consists of a plugin and a configurator app. Plugin allows you to do this, and in the app you can configure all the values for each game like I did for Revelations 2. Honestly, it's pretty straightforward. While we are at the slower running Revelations 2, here is also worth mentioning a second homebrew that is gonna help us a lot. Overclocking plugin called PsVShell or PsVShell Plus. Both are doing pretty much the same thing. They allow us to change CPU, GPU, bus and X-bar clock speed separately. You can create profiles for each game separately. You're gonna bring up the menu by pressing select and up on the D-pad. And here you can overclock everything to your liking: CPU, GPU, bus, X-bar. I'm always keeping everything at the max. Then if you press select and up, it goes into this minimalistic frame rate or another up into this one. Or then you can just disable it by going down. PS Vita is underclocked by default. It uses this chip, ARM Cortex A9 MP core, and it was designed to run at 0.8 GHz. And Vita at default runs at 333 MHz. And even when you fully overclock it, it still goes only up to 500 MHz, so 0.5 GHz opposite to 0.8 GHz. I think this plugin is great and it increases the enjoyability of many games. Third very handy application is called Battery Fixer. If you have any kind of battery issues, like it is not charging completely or it is not depleting completely, launch this app, wait 10 seconds and it might help you. Your Vita will shut down, it resets the battery controller, it reboots the system controller, and it also clears all the calibration data and flags. If you're thinking about changing your battery, try this tool first, maybe it's gonna help you. Fourth application, only for PS Vita Slim, is called LCD Color Saturation. If you own Vita Slim, this is a must install, brother. It makes a huge difference. It enhances the contrast and the saturation by a lot. You just install the application, press X and job done. This feature was actually meant to be built into every Vita by default by Sony in official firmware. Ultimately, they have decided to scrap this idea because some games were looking oversaturated. I found this out on this Reddit post where this guy was actually asking Vita engineer about it. So in conclusion, the only downside to using the high contrast mode is that certain games look oversaturated, and that was ultimately a deal breaker for Sony. iTLS Enso is fifth, another essential homebrew application that adds TLS or transport layer security with some kind of encryption protocol. That is needed if you want to do anything online with your Vita in 2025. You just launch it and install full iTLS package, job done. You're gonna need it for any homebrew or official application that still uses internet. And you're also gonna need it for number 6, Mirage Installer. This is very recent application that enables online multiplayer in Killzone Mercenary. Sony shut down online servers a long time ago, but Vita comrades found a way to reinstate it again in a form of a private homebrew server. Big 2 thumbs up. Again, you just install the application, launch it, press X and job done. The app will install the plugin for you automatically, and all is left for you is to kill or get killed. I covered it in my previous video in detail. Check it out if you're into it. Sorry, kamo. Jako v poli tráva. Number 7. Custom wave backgrounds. I do really like the default animated wave background, but you can just about change color and that's about it. But this plugin, PSP to WPP, allows you to install and create custom wave backgrounds, which are even more amazing. Havoking created all of the custom backgrounds that I'm using. Some of them are truly unique, like this one. You can use same background on every page, or you can change the pages and they will be all looking differently. And the transitions in between them are even more mind-boggling, as you can see. I can be looking at it all night long. All you need to do is to install the plugin and then add folder with all your custom waves into UX data folder. Here are all of the ones that Havoking shared on the Reddit. Feel free to check his Reddit post. Check the link down below, he created quite a few of them. This one is pretty cool, it's giving like PS3 vibes. This one is also looking pretty cool. All of them are quite interesting if you ask me. Now I would like to dedicate huge thanks to all of my Patreons and joiners for their continued support. I just want you to know that you are the best and I do really appreciate it a lot. So thanks again, brothers and sisters. Number 8. Every proper handheld needs a cheat, and in this case it is called VitaCheat. It is a plugin, you just install it and then you activate it by pressing right on the D-pad and left trigger. Here you just go to cheat list and you can find here all of the available cheats for this specific game. These cheats are for Resident Evil Revelations 2. You see infinite health, infinite ammo. VitaCheat only supports native Vita games, but not all games are supported. As you can see, for Amazing Spider-Man there are no cheats. And for example, Batman game has a lot of cheats available. Number 9, we are coming to more obvious ones, Adreanline. If you wanna play PSP and PS1 games on your Vita, you need to install it. It's super easy and the benefits are tremendous. Every PSP and PS1 game is supported. You can do save states, load states and even cheat codes. For PSP cheats you need to install separate plugin and it is called CWCheat. It's pretty straightforward and it's certainly worth it. If you hold down PS button down whilst in Adreanline and go into settings up here, you are now in the Adreanline menu. Here you press the right trigger and you can go to settings. You can find some filters, scaling and things like that. Here are save states. And in the main, if you go into open official settings, here you can assign right stick for either action buttons or D-pad. This will enable you to play PSP games with both Vita joysticks. Because as you may know, many PSP first-person shooters were using action buttons as looking around. Plus you can also go into assign touchscreen and assign, different corners for different functions. PSP games on Vita look stunning. I'm using these settings, just graphics filter in advanced AA and smooth graphics no. That's it and I'm very satisfied. You can check some Reddit posts for other people, favorite settings for Adreanline. There are quite a few. Some people like to put screen size down to PSP normal screen, so it's not gonna be full screen but it's gonna be smaller, something like this. So not full screen is gonna be filled but it's gonna be more like this. If you are done with Adreanline, you don't wanna certainly just press power button and go into standby mode. You wanna press power button when you are in normal native Vita menu, not when you are in Adreanline, because then you might need to reboot your Vita to be fully functional again. At number 10 we have this power bank by Cuktech company. And the model is called Cuktech Ultra 15. The brand name Cuktech is based on Slobodan Čuk, a famous Serbian-American electrical engineer. He is known for Čuk circuit, a specialized DC-DC circuit known for efficiency and flexibility. It has 20,000 mAh capacity, 140 watts single port maximum output, and 165 watt ultra fast self-charging. Here are all the specifications in closer detail. It has 2 USB-Cs in and out and 1 USB-A only out. And when you press this button, it reveals that it has also 1.3-inch LCD screen. It's showing you all the information. The battery is right now charged to 99%, and here are values for every port. Now let's try to plug in my laptop to see what kind of speed we're gonna be getting. And we are charging 40 watts, 20 volts, 2 amps. Now let's plug in my phone. Super fast charging. And my phone is charging 20 watts, 10 volts. Now I'm plugging in both laptop and my phone through the USB-C plugs. Here are the outputs. Total output is about 58 watts. 40 watts laptop and about 16 watts my phone. Now I'm charging notebook, phone, and I'll plug another phone. Fast charging. And total output is 69 watts. Also pretty solid values if you ask me. This power bank packs a serious punch. Inside of box they also included this pouch and a C2C cable. This pouch is for storing the bank so it doesn't get scratched. It supports a wide range of fast charging protocols, and it also supports dual port extreme self-charging. It simultaneously supports 2 inputs up to 165 watts. You need 2 chargers to activate the beast mode, and it can fully charge its 20,000 mAh battery in 45 minutes, which is pretty good if you ask me. And another very cool feature is that you can charge the battery whilst you are charging something else, like the phone for example. The battery is charging itself here in, and this is my phone charging out. I do really like the display on the battery, it's really handy to see all the values. The beast mode super fast charging is also nice, and I especially like I can charge and discharge at the same time, as well as use all of these 3 ports to charge at the same time. That's really handy if you ask me. If you are interested in it, please check the link down in the description below. And now let's carry on with some more Vita Homebrew goodness. For now let's carry on with the real number 10 Quick Launch Installer. This application is responsible for these 3 buttons down here. They appear when you press PlayStation button and you go into this multitasking menu. If you don't have it installed, there are just some shortcuts to the games on the PS Store. But if you're gonna install it, you can customize it the way you want. I got here the apps that I'm using the most. VitaShell Adreanline settings. Here I just click on it and it opens automatically. That means you don't need to scroll through all the apps and look for VitaShell for example. You just press PS button, click and opened. You just install the app, launch it, and here you can choose from like 7 preset templates. All of them can be easily customized. When you press square, you go into edit mode, and here you can replace any of these for any app you want. Have you ever forgot your PSN account login details? If yes, then you are like me and number 11 is gonna help you a lot. PsVident. Here you can find a bunch of hardware related information, firmware, software, battery status, and also your PSN login and password that you have used for creating an account on this exact PS Vita. I'm not gonna show you mine, but it's there, and if you ever gonna forget it, now you know where to find it. Number 12, PKGj, another must install. It is used for installing this, or if you press triangle, you can also use it for installing this, and this. I've deliberately used this vague terminology in describing this application because it's like walking on a thin ice. Am I right, Michiko? I think this means yes, you are right. Also make sure you got iTLS Enso installed when you're gonna be using it, otherwise you might encounter some errors. Number 13 is VitaShell. This is so much more than just a file manager. You can see all your partitions in here. UMA0 is my Sony memory card, UR0 internal memory with all of my plugins, and UX0 is my SD2 Vita with all of my homebrews, games and ports. When you press start, you can change theme, then you can also change USB device, SD2 Vita, PSVSD or Sony memory card. Like when you connect your Vita to your PC, this is gonna be shown up in your PC as a partition, so now it's set to SD to Vita, so SD to Vita is gonna be shown in my computer. Next, we have select button function. You can either choose USB or FTP, so when I go back and press select, now I can connect my Vita to the PC via computer and it's gonna be shown as partition. Or if you put it as FTP and you go back and press select, now it's gonna be FTP. I'm leaving it on USB, and then you can also reboot or power off your Vita from within your VitaShell. You don't need to like press and hold power button to go into this menu and then power it off and then power it on again. You can simply press reboot and it's gonna be rebooted. When you press triangle, you can see all the options in here, like refresh a live area. This is used when you're gonna copy some games over, then you refresh live area and then they're gonna show up in your live area. You can also mount and unmount different partitions, but I wouldn't change anything if you don't know what you're doing exactly. Number 14, another essential homebrew app, packed full of features, VitaDB. It is used for downloading ports and homebrews. For games that require additional game files, you need to, provide it yourself. The app is not gonna do it for you. For example, now I'm on Ultimate Spider-Man, I press select, and here I can either choose to install, view homebrew requirements. Requirements are the plugins and game data files. I can also view screenshots or view changelog. When I press left trigger, it goes into PSP homebrew applications. So these are all of the homebrews for PSP. And if you press left trigger again, you can download a theme for this application. For example, I have downloaded this Slipknot theme. There are a bunch of others available, like Legend of Zelda, Matrix, Witcher 3. Plus, you can also create your own custom background music whilst you are in the app. I put their Slipknot song, but I think I need to change it for something more mellow. Now we are back in all apps. When I press triangle, you can search for specific application. When I press square, I go into different categories: freeware apps, not installed apps, outdated apps, installed apps, apps with trophies, all applications, original games, game ports, utilities, emulators. VitaDB app needs Shader Compiler plugin to run. It should be installed automatically, but if for whatever reason it fails, you can also use this application and it will be installed automatically. Sharkbreed all-in-one Shader Compiler extractor. You just launch it and it will do everything for you. As always, make sure to have iTLS Enso installed. Another homebrew browser is Better Homebrew Browser. This one is also quite good. This is it. Interface is nice. When you press triangle, you can change database from VitaDB to CBPS. I like this application, but it takes some time until they update it with latest applications. For example, now there is no Spider-Man, even though it was already released a while back. I like it. Interface is really nice. Here up you got different categories: game, ports, emulators, utilities, and in the other database you might even find games that are not listed in the VitaDB, for example. If you don't want to use this bubbles interface, you can always use something like Retro for All Launcher. Here you got all the games nicely listed with pretty background picture. You can change view to have like different kind of interface. It's pretty good, I like it, even though I don't use it as much. Or there is also Hexflow Custom Launcher. It's very similar, but here you might have some different, interfaces available, like this switch one, or just this normal one, or even this one. And then these are pretty much same like for Retroflow Launcher. Both of these launchers are, by the way, based on a Hexflow launcher by VitaHex. RetroArch could be also considered as essential homebrew Vita application. It's used for all your retro gaming needs. Here is the very familiar interface. I don't really use it much, but I'm glad it's available for Vita as well as for plenty other handhelds. Great alternative for RetroArch is a latest MU for Vita++. This one has same function, but it is lighter. It takes less storage. There might be even some extra cores that are not available for RetroArch. Plus, you can also install every emulator as a standalone app, which is very handy if you wanna only emulate one system. Another essential, Custom Themes Manager. Here you can apply and install theme, download and install new custom theme from online repository. install theme from a local folder, or you can also uninstall theme. Remember, you can also still install themes from PKGj or from the official PlayStation Store. Moonlight is used for streaming PC games into your PS Vita. I've never used it, but a lot of people do like it. PlayStation 4 Remote Play is not really a homebrew application, but I would like to remind you about it as well. There is also Apollo Save Tool for managing all of your saves. And last but not least, I would like to talk about Autoplugin 2. This application is very useful, especially for beginners. In Vita plugins, you can install, uninstall plugins. Majority of plugins that I've talked about are in here. I think all besides the latest Mirage Installer for Killzone Mercenary. If you go into PSP plugins, you can manage plugins for Adreanline. There are not as many of them, but there are some useful ones as well. In the app downloads, you can find a bunch of applications we've been talking about today. Battery Fixer, iTLS Enso, this is the Wave Background plugin, Sharkbreed is the shader compiler, VitaShell of course. I like this application, it's good, but please stick to the golden rule. The less plugins you install, the better. Because then the less plugins you install, the less chance of the incompatibility issues arising. And I'm sure you don't want to be figuring out why this game is giving me error in spite of fact I followed all the steps precisely. If you want to find out more about plugins, please check the full video I've made a while back. While we are at the plugins, another very useful one is UDCV_UVC. And it allows you to stream Vita screen to your computer via USB or to your Android tablet or phone or whatever. Another handy application is certainly Vita Testa. Here you can check all your joysticks and buttons if they are working properly, even touchscreen. The only thing you cannot test is gyro. If you really want to push it, there is also PS5 Remote Play app called Chiaki. But it only works just about slower paced RPGs because Vita's Wi-Fi connection is quite slow. And we got also one honorable mention called Rabbid MultiTool. It is still in active development, so there might be some issues with it. However, even right now there are so many useful features available, like backup and a restore icon layout. Like for example, when you need to rebuild your database, all your icons are gonna get, mixed. But you can prevent it when you back up your icon layout. This is not a new feature, it's been around for a while, but this application combines it with a lot of other useful tools, like backing up or restoring or removing your PSN account, or even viewing, you can see your login details. In the app tools, you can for example change bubble and live area images, or even change bubble title. In the registry tools, you can reset parental passcode and reset screen lock passcode. In the miscellaneous, you got font previewer, file downloader, and FTP and USB features. There is also file manager, and the tie hand tools are not working for me as of right now. As I said, the app is in active development, but I like it a lot, and therefore it deserved honorable mention. Oh, and I almost forgot, you can also customize the font, the background of the application itself, and few other things. So these were just some of my favorite homebrew applications that I still do use even nowadays. If I've missed any of your favorite one, please let me know down below. I hope you've learned something new today. If this video helped you, give this video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, join. I would like to thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Jako suchej starý strom, jako šeničící hrom, jako foli tráva. Připadá mi ten náš svět, plnej řečí a čím víc, tím líp se mám. Budem o něco se rvát, až tu nezůstane stát na kameni kámen. Jestli není žádnej Bůh, tak nás vezme země vzduch, no a potom amen. A to všechno proto jen, že pár pánů chce mít den bohatších králů.